a good fight and an upset. Caleb Plant loses a split decision to Armando Resendiz, and when I say split decision, go and watch this fight. It's actually a really good fight. It's a really good scrap over 12 rounds. How a judge, so the two judges scored it correctly, 116, 112 for Resendiz, and that's about right. You maybe could actually give him another round as well, to be honest with you. It was a clear win for him. One judge scored it 115, 113 for Caleb Plant, and as I said, 4 rounds that's fair. Anything after that, you're just like, nah. The fact that a judge found 7 rounds to give him, I just don't know. I really don't know. And again, I hate to go on about it and labour the point, but the right man won, so that judge there'll be no scrutiny on that. Which is ridiculous, because it's a completely, go and watch this fight. It's not close. It's not. It was a fairly resounding win for Resendiz. This was, on paper, a straightforward win for Caleb Plant, or it should have been in theory, because he was a big favourite. Resendiz, I had a look at his box rec, and he obviously had 2 previous defeats, 26 years old. He looked undersized in there for 168 pounds, and the reason for that is because he actually had campaigned at middleweight prior. That's where his most recent loss was. And I was thinking, okay, they're setting up Plant versus Charlo. That's pretty apparent. And Charlo won on the card. Plant had to get the win, and we kind of thought going in, yeah, probably will. Plant looked really bad in there. Now, Caleb Plant is only 32 years old. He's 32, yeah, about that. He's in his early 30s. For a guy at 168 pounds, that's not actually that old. You still have a couple of years left. I think Anthony Yard is older than Caleb Plant, so that kind of puts it in context if you think about it. Plant in this fight looked old. Defensively, Caleb Plant does get hit. Plant's always been one of these guys where he can box quite well early on, but he's always had a bit of a questionable gas tank. And, he's big, he's particularly set. His gas tank always seemed to not necessarily run on empty, but it always seemed to let him down a fade down the stretch. In this fight right here, and that's one of the reasons why we get caught so much, in this fight right here, it was like, he was getting caught early. And Resendiz, even like in round number 3, you could see, you were like, oh, he's hurting him. He's landing shots, he's hurting Caleb Plant, and you're kind of thinking, this is not going to be fun, because Caleb Plant is a okay puncher, but he's not you would associate him more as a boxer, as a puncher, you know what I mean? So I was thinking, he's going to have to dent this guy, because this guy is on him like a bad smell. A good pressure fighter, really trying to set the tempo, and Caleb Plant just couldn't make the adjustments, and he was getting hit with right hands almost at will from the start of this fight. And I think it was round number 6. It was a beautiful short right hand, and the way he was able to get the torque on it as well, so short, landed on Caleb Plant, and Caleb Plant was hurt. It was towards the back end of round number 6. He was really hurt with that. Resendiz followed up with a combination, and it didn't result in a knockdown, but I'm telling you now, Caleb Plant, another few shots went in, he probably would have hit the deck. So Plant was also hurt in this fight. And Plant's always showed decent enough whiskers. He's obviously stopped against Canelo, and that was Canelo when he was firing on all cylinders. He was a lot younger, and he wasn't as content to go to 12 rounds as he seems to be now, where it's just like, go to 12 rounds, maybe drop him, but whatever. No, he put a beating on Caleb Plant and stopped him in 10 rounds. Plant then proceeds to, I think he had one comeback fight, then he went in against David Benavidez. And against Benavidez, he took a beating in that fight, but he still saw the final bell. Against the very big puncher at 168 pounds in Dave Benavidez. He was able to see the final bell, and yeah, his form now, Caleb Plant, again, in his last 5 fights, he's now 3-2. No, sorry, actually 2 wins and 3 defeats. Am I saying 3-2? 3 losses, 2 defeats. It's not a good run of form for Caleb Plant at all. PBC, he has a rematch clause in place apparently for this fight, so we could end up fighting Resendiz again, which I'm not complaining. I'll watch this fight again, because it was a very, very entertaining scrap, but I don't know how much Caleb Plant has left. I'm thinking, did the Canelo fight and the Benavidez fight, as lucrative paydays as they were, and he was game in both of them, to be fair, he was game against Benavidez, he was game against Canelo, but he ultimately came short in both those fights, and he was stopped in one. He did take a beating against Benavidez as well. I'm thinking, have they knocked the prime out of him? Maybe, because Caleb Plant, legs, long range boxing, good jab. Legs didn't seem there tonight. Long range boxing, I mean, he was getting out jabbed. That's what it looked like to me. He was getting out jabbed by this guy. Resendiz was just better in every department, and yeah, it was an interesting fight, and to watch it, by the end, in the 12th round, Caleb Plant was still shifting punishment in that 12th round. Resendiz was putting it on as we came to the final bell. His face was bashed up. He appeared to be just cut above the eye. Yeah, I think Caleb Plant, if he insists on having a rematch, I mean, he's going to need a complete overhaul. This is not like, see, a rematch for a fight like this, I know, probably a bad example because of obviously what's happened this week with Jaime Munguia, but when Jaime Munguia fought Bruno Saras, right, but he fought him in December, he was winning the fight, he dropped Bruno Saras, then he ended up getting knocked out with one shot, okay? An immediate rematch for that, you know what you can do different. Same against Dylan White and Povetkin. An immediate rematch for that, yes, he can hurt you and knock you out. That's always a worry. But you're better. On the day when everything clicks, you're better. You just made a mistake. When someone is just bossing you for 12 rounds, and officially it's a split decision, should have been unanimous. When someone's doing that for 12 rounds, and you can't make the adjustments, and he's hurting you, and he's basically beating you on the inside and on the outside, I don't know how you fix that. Some fighters are really, really that good, and they can find the adjustments, they can change things up, but for the most part, when someone's done that to you, it's unlikely, not impossible, but it's unlikely you'll be able to pull that back in a rematch. And I look at this style and I just think the guy's 26 years old, good pressure fighter, good engine, good gas tank, hits hard. Plant took another beating and he's going to try and go back in there again. I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea. I look at Caleb Plant and I just think, okay, you're looking old in there for 32. Even though you had some tough fights, it's not been an incredibly punishing career in that sense. I don't know what you do. I'm not going to say the words stick a fork in him yet, but there's definitely a lot of questions and Caleb Plant's going to have to ask himself moving forward. And even going into a rematch, I don't know, I wouldn't be making him favourite after what I seen tonight. No way. And he went into this fight a heavy favourite. So yeah, I plan on doing a review of this. Really, really good, entertaining scrap. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, Caleb Plant, it's going to be a hard comeback. Again, not like you were bossing the fight, you were controlling it, you dropped him, you hurt him, made a mistake, boom, you paid for it. It's not like that. He was just beaten from pillar to post in this fight. He was just the better man. The better man won. And only issue is it's a split decision. Should have been unanimous, in my opinion. Don't know how you find 7 rounds to give to Caleb Plant. Not a chance in this, but go and watch it. It's a great fight. Yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Let me know yours in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe as always if you haven't already. And until next time, people, peace and love.